Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and today a puzzle by SUDOKU, who I think we've featured on the channel before as a very innovative, is that the right way to pronounce that word, constructor. And this rule set is intriguing. Now it does feature skyscrapers, which terrify me. Now that does give me a chance to let you see the skyscraper animation by Chainbear, the famous Formula One YouTuber, who sent us this, which shows us how skyscrapers work. And I'm going to play it and explain that if you had a row of 2, 4, 5, etc., you have to visualize those numbers as buildings of that given height. And then you see how many you can see from the left or the right. So from the left you can see there's a 5 is the clue, because you can see buildings 2, 4, 5, 7 and 9. From the right, how many you're going to see? You're going to see the 8 building and then the 9 building. So it's going to be a 2 clue from that side. And that is how skyscraper clues outside the grid, which is the normal way they work, operate. But in this puzzle, the circles are going to be skyscraper clues for both their row and their column, which is really weird, operating from the top and the left, respectively. Irrespectively. Anyway, I'll get to those rules. I'll go through them properly in a moment. Don't forget that on Patreon we have our Lines and Shapes reward, which is 7 puzzles themed on lines and shapes, particularly hexagons and octagons. There is a prize of a Cracking the Cryptic logo cap for the person who gets drawn out of the hat after the 20th, which is the closing deadline, and that a prize has an octagon on it, which is why we are doing this theme for this month. So we really welcome people to join us on Patreon, have a go at those puzzles. The preamble, the Patreon post says that number 1 and number 4 are the easiest, but it has been pointed out to us that number 4 is not necessarily one of the easiest puzzles. So number 1 is. The others somewhere between approachable and quite tough. So, but we've still been getting brilliant entries. Some people saying it's the first Patreon reward they've done. Some people saying they were right on the wavelength and found them relatively straightforward, which is great. And others. Anyway, check that out. That's on Patreon. Always loads of extra content there. And our apps. The reason it's themed on lines is because we have a line app coming out hopefully later this month, as long as we can get the work done in time. And we're very pleased with that, and with all our other apps. Do check out the links under the video, which will also take you to Sven's SUDOKU pad, recently updated, to our merchandise, the Discord server, etc. But the first link is to this puzzle, Between the Skyscrapers by SUDOKU, and the full rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so we're going to put 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Cells along a line between 2 circles, these are between lines, have values between those in the circles. So if you had, I don't know, a 6 and a 9 in those circles, these would have to then be 7 and 8. But if that was a 1, they could be anything except 1 or 9. So that's how between lines work. A digit in a circle is also a skyscraper clue for its row from the left. So let's just highlight this. Its row from the left side and its column from the top. So if this was a, I don't know, let's make up a 4, then you would see 4 buildings from the top in the way that we just demonstrated with the Chainbear animation, and 4 from the left as well. Now that's fascinating. We've never seen a rule like that before. Very strange. The skyscraper clue is actually in the puzzle. There is, and it's important, it's vital to remember that those circles operate both ways, not one way that you have to discover, but both ways, down and across. And there is one inequality where that digit is higher than that one. So give it a try. Check the video length if you're unsure how difficult this will be. It might give you a clue, and it might just say Mark's an idiot. But I am going to restart my clock and say, let's get cracking. So what are we What on earth are we going to do? I mean, there's nothing to go on here. I'm going to have to figure something out about these circles, but what? There's a 5 on this line. So one of these is lower than 5 and one is higher than 5. Okay, I don't know, this is weird. I mean, I'm also looking at these circles and trying to think about what they can be. No, let's start here. Right. I don't think this can be a high number, by which I mean a number as high as 7. I think I'm going to have to give 6 a pass, annoyingly. Right. I think this can be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. It can't be 5 because of that digit Sudoku. Now, the reason I don't think this could be a 7, and let's just look at it if it was, is because of this row. If that was a 7, it would either be seen as no more than the 4th highest building in the row, and there could only be 2 more to get seen after it. So the maximum number of buildings you could see in that row, if you saw the 7, is 6, and 7 is not the right clue for 6. Now, the other case is even worse. If the 7 was obscured by an 8, say, then I think the maximum number of buildings you could see is 4. So that cannot be a 7. And the case would only get worse with 8 and 9. So I think we can at least limit that to 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6. Oh, I think this has to be exactly the same for the column. Because, yeah, I mean, it's the same deal. If that was a 7, it would be at most the 4th building you could see in this direction with only a maximum of 2 to come. So, look at this. Okay, I've done something. I mean, this is mad. One of these is a 6, I'm now going to assert, because the digits you can put between the extreme possibilities there are only from 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the digit that is higher than at least 3 of those could be 5 or 6, but 5 doesn't go in those cells, so one of them is a 6. In fact, they can't have 4 or 3 in either, or else you couldn't, sorry, that's the wrong pencil mark adjusting. They are either 6 and 2 or 6 and 1. Now, is there any problem with 1 appearing in these? I don't think there is. If 1 was there, those would be 9s, and if 1 was there, those would be 9s, because the only thing 1 can mean as a skyscraper clue is that the column or row starts with a 9. I wish I knew that one of them was a 1, because then I could put a kind of 9 pencil mark around there, but one of them might be a 2, so I can't do that. And a 2 is not powerful. A 2 is a very free skyscraper clue. For a 2, you could either begin with an 8, and the clue is always going to be 2, or you could have a 9 there, and the clue is always going to be 2, or there are lots of other combinations like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 9. I mean, 2 is not useful. I'm hoping to not find any of these circles are 2s. Now, what about this? On the other end of that, can we determine? I honestly don't know whether it's high or low. I suppose it can't be as high as 7 again. I wanted to say 6, but I think it could be a 6. You could go 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 that way. So again, 6 is the highest. 1 is not possible this time, weirdly, because 1 would require 9s in both of those cells. 1's not possible on these circles either. Oh, and of course, no. Well, 6, 7, 8, 9 aren't possible on those. Is that right? Yeah, if you put a 6 in here, that would be nonsense, because looking down the column, you could only get a maximum of 4. Now, I think 5 is possible, so it's only 6. So these are between 2 and 6, and the between digit is 3, 4, or 5. So we've almost got a quintuple in box 1 now, which is utterly weird. Now, these two have to again be between 2, 3, 4, and 5, don't they? Yeah, they do, because the maximum and minimum here are 1 and 6. So now I've got a 2, 3, 4, 5 quad going on, and that can't be 2. This is one of the stranger puzzles I've ever seen. Now, what about these? I mean, the trouble is, the further they are along the row or column, the more they could be 7 or not 8. Actually, that one could be 8. Oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe that. I'm not even going to think about those. I want to concentrate on this stuff where I've actually got something going on. Now, come on, what's going on here? I need to think about these a bit more, because if one of them was a 2, that's, it is possible. 3, well, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 hides the 2 looking this way. Six might not be possible. Oh, didn't I work out 6 wasn't possible? Yes, 6 isn't possible in the column that way and the row that way, at least, maybe even more. 6 is not possible, so that can't be 5. These, right, what's going on then? Come on, can we narrow it down a bit more? Can we say that neither of them can be a 5? Because in the one in which the 5 was on the perimeter, it would have to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 looking down. I don't think we can say that one of them can't be a 5. What about 2? I was thinking about 2, and I'm not sure I got very far thinking about 2. It's quite complicated, because if this was 2, this couldn't be 9, or that would be another 2. Therefore, where would the 9 be? The only way this could be a 2 if that wasn't a 9 is if this was 1 and that was 9. And then it would work. And the 2 this way, I suppose it could just go 4, 2, 3, and then 9. So maybe 2 does work. Oh, it looked like it couldn't. Bother. Right, sorry. I mean, that actually makes me swing the other way and think, that's probably how one of them is going to be a 2, because it's going to fill in quite a lot of the grid for me that otherwise I can't do at all. I just need to find out which of these is high and low, don't I? Now, if that was 2, 3, 4, or 5, we would have a complete quadruple. Oh, hang on. This cannot be a 2. This can't be a 2. Because it would have a 2 on a line coming from it somewhere, and that is not possible. So that is also right. So this is a 1, 6 pair. Now, what I'm going to think about that is, not only do we definitely have an instance either there of 6 being cited on a 6 line or there, and that's fine, but it kind of is going to lead to a form of thermo in those cells. What we have is a 1 in one of those cells, and that's going to mean there's got to be a 9 in one of these positions. I remember that worked with the 2 here, but there's also got to be a 9 in one of these positions. Now, not in both? Is that interesting? No, I don't think it is. Oh, where's 9 in this box though? Because 9 is in one of those in column 1 and one of those in row 1, it's in one of these 3 cells. I don't think 9 can be here, or they would both be 2s. So 9's in one of those 2. And now, oh no, I don't know. One of these is 2 or 3 because of wherever 9 is here. Like if that's a 9, this can't be more than 3. But that's actually not an advance because I always knew one of them was 2 or 3. Oh, this is a 2. Because there's a 9 either there or there. So in the column or row, 2 is mandatory. Wow, that's a huge jump. Right. So these don't have a 2 on. That's a 6. This is where the 1 goes. I've got the 9s on the perimeter now. Goodness me. Oh, I love this. This is so clever. Here we go. Now, what can this do? I've fully used up that clue. Now, this is the 6, right. So this is where we go increasing all the way down here. So that is 1, 2 or 3. That's 2, 3 or 4. This is 3, 4 or 5. They have to increase. That's why I'm talking about this being like a thermo. And then after the 6, which has to be visible, we're going to get 2 more visible buildings. I can't really do much about those. Wow, what has this done for me? Not a lot, actually. And there's 6 this way as well. So this can't be more than 4, I seem to remember. In fact, 7 can't appear anywhere here, can it? Because it would stop 6 being true, and the same is true for 8 and 9. So 7, 8 and 9 have to be packed into those cells. That can't be 5, by the way. These are a 1, 2, 3, 4 set. Now, I don't know as much about the order as I do here, where they have to be ascending. Here, it's not such a problem if we had 7, 8, 9 afterwards. Right, the other cells in this column are also 6, 7, 8. Now, this is a huge number. Well, I say huge, it's at least 6. Now, it can't be 9 because a 9 row or column has to be the digits in ascending order all the way, and that wouldn't fit with this. Can this be 8? If it was 8, no, it can't be 8. And the reason it can't be 8, sorry, I'm just going to get rid of Simon here. Okay, the reason it can't be 8 is because you can't put 9 both there and there. In the same box. The reason that matters is because if 9 was anywhere up here, you won't get a count of 8, and if it was anywhere here, you won't get a count of 8 in the row. So that's not 8. This is 6 or 7. I have a feeling it might be more difficult to decide between those. Although again, 7 would require 9 in one of those positions. If it was anywhere here, it would give a total of less than 6. So 9 would have to be there. Yeah, no, 7 is just as good. That would keep 9 out of those cells and put 9 in one of these, and that would break the possibility of 7 that way. This is a 6 as well. I was going to say none of these circles can possibly have a 7, 8 or 9, and then I was going to notice that this probably can have a 7 or a, I don't know. Anyway, it won't. Oh no, okay, let's think about that. Let's think about that, because I'm quite interested now. This can't be a 9, not because either the row or the column couldn't be a 9, one of them could be, but it can't be a 9 because both of them would have to end 7, 8, 9. It can't be an 8 because again 9 would have to appear in this box both ways. Same's true about 7. You can't put 9 in one of those cells if this was a 7 in the corner, and yet therefore 9 would have to appear twice in the box. So this is definitely lower than 6. It has to leave room for a between digit, so it's 1, 2, 3 or 4. It can't be 1 because we're not allowed to put 9s in the perimeter. So that's 2, 3 or 4. Now, can I just quickly prove this isn't 8 or 9 either for exactly the same, well, it couldn't be 8 or 9 in this column. It wouldn't work. So this is lower as well. Again, 2, 3 or 4. Now, not 4 because we're not allowed to put 5 there. Actually, oh no, that's not true down here. That is 2 or 3. Now, 6 there says that's not a 6. Oh, look, where's 9 in this column? That's a very interesting question. And I think it might be why this inequality sign is here, which I assumed at first was just a late disambiguator. Now, you can't put 9 here because it would be 5th in this column and limit it to a maximum of 5, and it's a 6 clue. You can't put 9 here because it would be 5th in this row and limit that clue to less than 6. So, you can't put 9 here because of the inequality sign, and you can't put 9 here because of the between line. So we've got to put 9 here in this column. And now that is a full thermo down from the top to that 6. Let's just because it may help me understand what's going on, I'm going to put a blob and a thermo there. Look at that. So we're climbing all the way up to that. So this is 7 or 8. That's not 9. So now I've got a 7, 8 pair. There's a 1 in one of those cells. The 1 in this column is in the thermo bulb. The 5 in the column has to be here. Yes. That is now not a 5, obviously. These include 2 and 5, uninterestingly. Gosh, I've learned quite a lot suddenly. This is 2, 3 or 4 just by between lines rules. One of these is 7 or 8 in this column. That's right, yeah, because we've only had one of them. So that's going to form a virtual 7, 8 pair, and this can't be 7 or 8. That is 6, and that's not. Then we're going to get a 6 in one of those cells by Sudoku. Now, I haven't used this 6 clue at all. Ah, and that is hitting this cell, which can't be an 8. 1, 2, 3, that would give a maximum of 5. So that's a 7. It's on the path here. I can draw another little thermo for myself from there, at least up to the 7. And then after that 7, it's going to find 8 somewhere and 9 somewhere. I don't want to pencil mark those, but that 7 is looking up at that cell. That's an 8. 7 must be here somewhere, so that's an 8. 1, 5, 6, 7, 9. So these are from 2, 3, 4, 8. These have to ascend towards the 7. I am going to bother to pencil mark them because I'm naughty. 2 there has meant these can't be 2. They have to be a 3, 5 pair to have a between digit, which is 4. Now, what's that going to tell me in box 1? The 9 here is going to obstruct the 3 thing. So this is a digit between 3 and 9. Actually, it's only got 2 possibilities, 6 or 7. But I don't know which Or, yes, I do. This can't be a 5 because that wouldn't work for the row because that 9 comes too soon. So that's a 3. That's a 5. Now, this is where 9 goes. It can't go here because of that 5. Four, 5, 9, 2, 3, 8 is in one of those two cells. Now, I was keep working on the numbers. This 5, it's going to hit that 8. This has to go 5, 6, 7, 8, and then find the 9 later. Oh my goodness, this puzzle is bonkers. Now, this 3, oh no. Yes, the 3 is fulfilled as long as that is bigger than the 4. And in fact, by Sudoku, we can fill in 8 and 1. The 3 has been done. It sees 4, 8, 9 that way and 3, 6, 9 that way. We're done with you, Mr. 3. This 2 is done as well. I hadn't really been focusing on that, but 1, 9 that way is clearly a 2 count. And this way, 8. And then the next digit it sees, actually, does the 9 have to be here in column 3? It does. So that is going to see 8 and then 9. So that 2 is fully solved and understood. This can't be a 2. That can't be a 1, and that runs up the thermo a little way. That can't be a 1 or a 4, and now I've got a 2, 3 pair. Everything else in this column is 6, 7, or 8. Two, 3, 4, 1, 7, 6, 5. One of these is a 9. Don't know which one. Those are a 7, 9. Now, let's look at this 6 row. It's going to see 6, 8, and then a 9. The 7 will be hidden. Those are 3 of the things it sees. So one of these is hidden. And it's going to be the 1 that is hidden. The others have to ascend. 2, 3, and then 4. That is right. It can't start with a 3. Yes, the others have to ascend. So 1 is hidden somewhere, and the others go 2, 3, and 4. Sorry, let me just try and get the pencil marks right. That can't be 4. Maybe I can't do more than that, but I've got a 3, 4 pair here now. So now I've got a 2, 5 pair. These are from 1, 3, 4. That 1 is done. This 6 is not done yet, but it's nearly done. As long as 3... Oh, that can't be a 3 because 3 has to come before 4. That's a 4. That's a 3. I think now this row is... This 6 is effectively done. However that 1, 3 resolves... Oh, look, we know how it does resolve. That is done. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 in one of those. And down here, 1, whatever that is, 5, 6, 7, 9. That clue is finished with. Oh, look, I've got this. Oh, I've got this. I've got so many clues to work with suddenly. I've got all of these 3 and even that. Oh, look, let's look at that going down. It sees 4, 5, something, something bigger, 9. So this has to be bigger than that. So that can't be 8. That is 6. And this is 7 or 8. And that clue is basically done wherever 9 appears in the row. It's done. Wow. Bit of methodicalness actually helps here, doesn't it? I mean, you might think it always helps, but sometimes it's just better to look around and see. Right, now, is this 2 or 3? In the row, it's going to see that 9, obviously. For it to be a 3, that would have to be 7, and that would have to be 8. And that does look possible. In the column, oh, I don't know. This is a between number. Why haven't I written these in? So is this, 3, 4, or 5. Now here, again, 7 or 8 to begin it. Oh, that's an interesting point. No, I was going to say one of them is going to be a 3. That's not true. One of them is going to be a 2. At least one of these two is going to be a 2, because there will be an 8 in one of those positions. And that always forces a 2. But I don't know. I need to do more up here, don't I? So 9, 1, 8, 3, 5. That is 2 or 4. We've got a 6, 7 pair in the column. One of these don't have a 4 in. Why? I should have eliminated that possibility. So in this column, 8, 1, 3, 5 and a 6, 7 pair. These are from 2, 4 and 9. Gosh, if that was 2 or 4, then that would have to be 8, which is fine. That would work perfectly well. If that's 9, oh, that's very interesting. Look, if this digit here is very interesting. It's a weird sort of Y-wing thing. If this was 2 or 4, you've got a 2, 3, 4, 5 triple, and that would have to be 8. If this is 9, because of the 6 skyscraper clue, this would also have to be 8. So this is always 8. That's very odd. Probably doesn't do anything. One of those is a 3, which is going to keep 3 off one of these. Nah, I don't know what to do with that. That can't be a 2. Okay, come on, think. 1 is in one of those cells, and in fact in this column, there it is. So I'll just mark it there. This one must be known. That is a 6. This is not a 6. 4, 5, 9, 6, 1. I feel like we've done all the work and now I just need to figure out the rest. Oh look, 6 in this row. I can place it at the end. And then I can't place the 6 at the top. So I've still got these. This is done for the row, sort of. Oh look, I've got a 2 there. Sorry if you noticed that earlier. That's quite helpful. That can't be 4. Yes, this is done for the row, wherever 9 appears. For the column, though, I don't know anything. Right, for the column, we can't start with anything higher than 6. And it sees 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we start with a 2. Then there is even constraints about this digit. We've got a 1, 3, 9 triple here, but that can't be 9. These are from 4, 6, 7, 8. A couple of them can't be 6. Now, could that be 7 or 8? No, it couldn't, because that 6 would not be fulfilled. That is a 4. So now, that is on the path, that is on the path, that is on the path. We see at least those 3, and maybe that as well. 9 in this column has to be here. There's nowhere else for it to be. It's just ordinary Sudoku. Right, that's huge. 9 there makes that a 4, that a 9. Obviously these can't be 4s now. 9 comes out of those cells. There are 1, 2 pair. That can't be 2 anymore. So now we've got a 3, 4 pair, and that's a 5. I might not even have to worry about the oh, that's 3 in the corner. Proving its position. That's a 4 now. I'm hoping to get through with Sudoku and not have to think about the skyscraperness of these remaining circles, but I doubt that I'm going to get away with this. But we'll see how far we get. I've got a 7, 8. Look at that 7, 8 pair. Quite useful. 9. That's become a 1. Oh, Sudoku's doing its thing here. It's doing a good job. It's doing a good job. I really actually don't mind if the last bit of work here is just checking off that those digits have worked. That would be fine. But I'm still being a bit hopeful and a bit cheeky. Now we've got a 5. Got to go up here in the corner. That's a 4 in the column. 2, 3 pair. 6, 8 pair. No, that's a 6. That's an 8. That's a 7. That's going to fix 8 here, which I could have done from that 7 ages ago. Now we are very nearly finished, quite excitingly. 5 or 8, 5, 7 or 8. That's the candidate marking. Okay, well, let's look at this then. Look, 6, 9, so that's a 2. And that might do it by Sudoku, because that's going to unwind these 2 rows completely, I presume. 5, 2, 5. Ooh, okay, we're left with a deadly pattern of 7, 8. I'll do that in a second. Everything else is done. But let's check off these numbers. Right, that 6 is done. 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. That 6 is correct. This 3, which I haven't looked at all, hurrah. 5, 7, 9 that way. Oh, okay, well, it's got to go 7, 8, 9 this way. And that'll decide this one way. 7, 8, 9. Hopefully that makes the 2 work in the row. Yes, it does. 8, 7, 9. There we go. Brilliant puzzle. That's so entertaining. What an intriguing idea. Very, very clever, Klausku. Looking between the skyscrapers. I worked out at some point while we were going through that what I could have told at the beginning, that these circles, you can only get 1 in each row or column, because there is only 1 potential skyscraper clue for each row and column, and that digit can only appear once in the row or column. It's something I didn't think of early on. I suppose I was wondering sort of if we were going to get any repeat digits in the circles. And we did. I think it would be quite hard to get 7s, 8s or 9s in this sort of puzzle. I don't think you can get a 9. I'm going to go that far. I don't think you can get a 9 in a circle. 7s and 8s would take some careful organisation. Anyway, brilliant idea. Thank you very much, Klausku, and thank you for watching as always. Hope to see you again soon on the channel. Bye for now.